I'm Jason Carter. Physical optimization defines my life. The day I was born, doctors nearly killed me with medical malpractice. They said I'd never walk. I've been proving them wrong for 35 years. It's easier than you think to obtain super optimal health. I've devoted my life to it, and with my help, you can too. I'm Jason Carter, and this is ENZYMENTAL. And welcome to ENZYMENTAL. I'm Jason Carter, and today I wanted to talk to you about hypoglycemia, or otherwise known as excessively low blood sugar. Have any of you ever eaten a dessert or pasta and a few hours later suffered from fatigue, shakiness, poor concentration, or sugar cravings? If so, you've probably experienced hypoglycemia. This is a very common and yet very misunderstood illness that affects millions of people. The body works hard to maintain balanced blood sugar because glucose is the fuel that most cells, especially brain cells, need for energy. Low blood sugar develops when the body's intricate blood sugar balancing mechanisms malfunction, and this can occur because of genetics, but often it's due to poor eating and lifestyle habits. Hypoglycemia has many potential causes, but one theory about what predisposes us to developing it is a diet high in sugar, concentrated sweets, and refined carbohydrates like white flour foods. And this should sound familiar to all of you because what I'm describing here is what's known as the standard American diet, or the SAD diet. These carbohydrates contain little or no fiber to slow the release of glucose in the bloodstream, so they cause blood sugar to rise quickly. The pancreas responds to high blood sugar by over-secreting the fat-storing growth hormone insulin, which in turn stimulates blood sugar to drop too low. As a result, the brain becomes deprived of optimal amounts of glucose and its function suffers. Symptoms like headaches, dizziness, mental fatigue, confusion, blurred vision, poor memory, and depression or mood swings can then develop. Stress and adrenal gland malfunction are also involved in hypoglycemia. When the adrenals, which are our stress-responding glands, are healthy, they respond to falling blood sugar by sending just the right amount of the hormones adrenaline and cortisol into the system to raise blood sugar to a steady level. However, when the adrenals are exposed to too much stress, whether it be physical or emotional, they can produce either too much or not enough stress hormones in response to plummeting blood sugar. If the adrenals overreact to falling blood sugar and produce excessive amounts of adrenaline and cortisol, symptoms associated with hypoglycemia like anxiety, hyperactivity, panic attacks, shakiness, and excessive or unexplained sweating are typical. On the other hand, if the adrenals don't produce enough stress hormones, they won't raise blood sugar enough, and fatigue and mental deficiency can result. So hypoglycemia really represents the beginning stages of faulty blood sugar metabolism. And if left untreated, it may actually progress into adult-onset diabetes. So, what can you do about hypoglycemia? Since an overworked pancreas and adrenals are involved, the best way to treat hypoglycemia is to adopt a diet and lifestyle that promote balanced blood sugar and minimize stress on these glands. So here are some specific things you can do. Keep your blood sugar steady. Eat at least 3 meals a day at regular intervals and avoid going too long without food. You may do best having 5 or 6 small meals throughout the day, at least initially. This is how I personally would proceed. In this way, as I've told you, I'm actually not a fan of intermittent fasting. So eating this way is critical if you experience hypoglycemic symptoms in mid-morning or mid-afternoon. Try to include some protein, fiber-rich carbohydrates, and fat in each meal and snack. And again, as I've told you many times before, fiber is raw vegetables and fruit. It's not bread and pasta. Eating these nutrients together helps ensure steady blood sugar. Good protein sources can include fish and lean meats. Healthy fats would be nuts, seeds, olive oil, flaxseed oil, and grass-fed butter. And again, the best carbs to emphasize, because you do need some carbs, are those that release glucose gradually, like what you find with raw vegetables. And this should be obvious to anyone, but it can't be emphasized too often. You need to avoid or greatly minimize your intake of sugar and sweets. And this includes not only refined sugar, but also honey, maple syrup, and other natural sweeteners, even fruit juices and dried fruits. Natural sweets can be more nutritious than refined sugary sweets, but they're still concentrated sources of sugar that cause quick blood sugar highs and lows, which stress the adrenals and the pancreas. You also need to reduce your intake of alcohol and caffeine, as both of these can cause abrupt blood sugar highs and lows, just like sugar does. And a critical mineral to take, as I mentioned before, is chromium. I've talked to you about chromium several times before in these videos, but it really bears repeating. Chromium is again a mineral that's essential for proper blood sugar balance, and even alleviate common hypoglycemic symptoms. Up to 90% of people in the U.S. are deficient in chromium. Good food sources of chromium include shellfish, liver, mushrooms, brewer's yeast, and whole grains. However, the much more common and much more available refined grains and white flour and sugar products, which are very popular foods in the U.S., deplete your chromium stores. And some other nutrients you can take that really work well with chromium to support healthy blood sugar include the B vitamins, particularly pantothenic acid, which is B5, vitamin C, and the amino acid glutamine. The B vitamins in particular improve carbohydrate metabolism and soothe your stressed out adrenals, and glutamine works well with chromium in helping to reduce and even eliminate sugar cravings. And one of the most important things you can do to support your body's defense against hypoglycemia is try to do what you can to reduce stress. And this is something all of us need to do. So this means make time for rest and relaxation daily. Reducing stress improves adrenal function, and this in turn will help to keep the blood sugar balanced. Thanks for watching. I'm Jason Carter, and I'll see you next time on ENZYMENTAL. Stay healthy.